Is it too late to buy Bitcoin? It's probably the most common question I get, and I understand why. The price feels high. You feel like you missed something. Everyone around you seems to have got in earlier, and you're standing at the door wondering if the party is already over. Here's my honest answer, and it might not be the answer you're expecting. I'm Sats, and this is the first episode of questions I was too embarrassed to ask. The questions every beginner has but feels awkward putting into words. Let's keep it simple. Let me start with something most people won't say out loud. This question feels embarrassing to ask because it contains an implicit admission. It means you've been watching Bitcoin for a while and haven't bought yet. And now the price is higher than when you first heard about it, and buying feels like arriving late to a trade that already happened. That feeling is completely understandable, and it is also, in my view, based on a framing that doesn't serve you particularly well. Here's what I mean. The question, is it too late, assumes there is a finish line, a point at which Bitcoin is fully priced in and there is no further upside. And the honest answer is that nobody knows where that finish line is, or whether it exists at all in any time frame that matters for a long-term holder. Now, I want to be really clear about something before we go further. I am not telling you Bitcoin will go up. I am not making a price prediction. What I am doing is questioning the framing of the question itself, because too late implies certainty about the future that nobody has. Let's think about it from a different angle. Think about someone who looked at Bitcoin in 2017 when it was near $20,000 and thought it was too late. They missed the crash to $3,000 in 2018, but they also missed the recovery to $69,000 in 2021. And they missed the crash back to $16,000 in 2022. And they've missed everything since. Were they too late in 2017? With hindsight, no, but they couldn't have known that at the time. The point is not that Bitcoin always goes up. It doesn't. The point is that too late has been set at almost every price level Bitcoin has ever reached. And it has been wrong more often than it has been right, though it has also been temporarily right plenty of times along the way. Here's where it gets more useful, because underneath this question there are really two separate questions, and they deserve two very different answers. Either, is Bitcoin's best days behind it? Has the big move already happened, and is the upside from here modest compared to the risk? Or, did I miss the specific opportunity I wanted? And am I now just buying out of fear of missing out on something I don't fully understand? On the first question, Bitcoin's market cap today is still a fraction of gold's market cap. Gold is a $17 trillion asset. Bitcoin is roughly $1.5 trillion. The argument that Bitcoin could, over a long time frame, capture a meaningful share of the value that gold holds, or the value held in other stores of wealth, is not a fringe idea. It is the core investment thesis held by a growing number of institutional investors, sovereign wealth funds, and now governments. Whether that plays out is genuinely uncertain, but saying the opportunity has passed requires believing that the thesis is already fully priced in. That is a strong claim. On the second question, if you are considering buying Bitcoin because everyone around you seems to be talking about it, and you feel like you are missing out, that is worth pausing on. Fear of missing out is not an investment thesis. Buying an asset because you do not want to feel left behind is a recipe for making decisions you haven't thought through. If you cannot explain in simple terms why you think Bitcoin has value and why you are comfortable holding it through significant drawdowns, that is a signal to learn more before buying. Here is the framework I find most useful, and this is the shift that actually changes how you think about the question. The right time to buy Bitcoin is when you understand what you are buying well enough to hold it through a 50% drop without panicking. Not when the price is right. Not when the news is positive. When your conviction is strong enough to survive a bad period. Because bad periods happen. They have happened repeatedly in Bitcoin's history, and they will happen again. If you are only comfortable holding Bitcoin when the price is going up, you don't yet have the foundation you need. So, is it too late? My honest view is that for someone with a long time horizon who understands the asset and is buying a position they can genuinely afford to hold, the answer is probably not. But for someone who is chasing a price move they feel they missed, who doesn't yet fully understand what Bitcoin is, or who is putting in money they cannot afford to leave alone for years, the timing of the purchase matters far less than the preparation behind it. The better question is not, is it too late? It is, am I ready? All right, let's make sure this lands clearly. Is it too late to buy Bitcoin? Is a question that assumes a finish line that nobody can see. It has been asked at almost every price level Bitcoin has ever reached, and it has been wrong more often than right. The real question is usually one of two things. Either whether Bitcoin's best days are behind it, which requires believing the investment thesis is fully priced in, or whether you are buying out of fear of missing out rather than genuine conviction. The right time to buy is not about price. It is about preparation. When you understand what you are buying well enough to hold it through a significant drawdown without panicking, that is when you are ready. Is it too late? Probably not for the right person. Are you ready? That is the more useful question to answer first. If you are not yet sure what Bitcoin actually is or why people think it has value, that is the place to start before thinking about whether to buy. The video on why Bitcoin has value covers that question directly and honestly. Watch that next. Stack smart, stay curious. See you in the next stack.